How civilizations rise and fall, the story of humanity. What makes a civilization rise? What causes it to fall? These are not just questions for historians. They are questions for all of us, because the story of civilizations is the story of humanity. And within that story, we find the hopes, dreams, triumphs, and tragedies of entire peoples, just like us. Thousands of years ago, small groups of humans began to settle near rivers, plant crops, and build homes. These settlements grew into villages, then into cities, and eventually into civilizations. From Mesopotamia to Egypt, from Greece to Rome, from China to the Maya, every great civilization started with the same spark, a need to survive and a desire to thrive. As people gathered in larger numbers, they began to build systems, governments, economies, religions, and cultures. They invented writing to remember their past. They created laws to manage their future. And they passed down stories, songs, and beliefs that made them who they were. Yet, as civilizations rose in power and beauty, they also faced challenges. Droughts dried up rivers, enemies threatened borders, leaders grew corrupt, inequality widened. Sometimes, the very things that made a civilization strong, like wealth, pride, or expansion, also became the seeds of its decline. And so, while one empire was being born, another was collapsing. But collapse is rarely sudden. It's more like a slow unraveling. People begin to lose faith in leaders. Trade routes break down. Knowledge is lost. Buildings crumble. And what once seemed eternal becomes a memory. We see this in the ruins of ancient cities buried under sand and jungle. We feel it in the silence, where once there was music, laughter, and life. However, history is not just a cycle of rise and fall. It's also a cycle of learning and rebuilding. After Rome fell, new kingdoms rose in Europe. After the fall of the Khmer Empire, Cambodia found new forms of identity. Every collapse creates space for something new. And every fall reminds us of what must be protected: wisdom, justice, balance, and the human spirit. So what makes a civilization endure? It is not just technology or armies. It is the ability to adapt, to care for the many, not just the few, to listen to voices across generations, to stay humble even in greatness. Civilizations that last are those that put people above power and values above wealth. Today, we live in a global civilization more connected than ever before. And while we face new challenges, climate change, inequality, digital disruption, the lessons of the past are still here, whispering to us through the ruins and the records. They remind us that every choice we make, every system we build, every person we lift up or leave behind, shapes the future of us all. Because in the end, civilizations don't rise and fall by fate. They rise and fall by decisions, by courage, by compassion, and by whether we choose to build something that lasts, not just in stone, but in heart,